is going on, everybody? It is your boy, your man's Toxic Gamer, or Toxic Wolf 330. Back at it with another review. And today we are continuing our review series of every single Wolfman movie, building up to the newest Wolfman movie done by Lee Winnell, and reviewing each and every single one of them. And today we are reviewing House of Frankenstein, the third in this franchise. But before we get into actual beginning the video, so guys, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, absolutely free. Number two, also maybe help with YouTube. I've been recommending the video to more people, and maybe they could join. And do feel free to comment your thoughts on House of Frankenstein down below. With that being said, guys, this is Gary too. And with that being said, but before we get right into it, let's go to a quick plot synopsis, shall we? So transition and introduce Zamia.
After escaping from prison, the evil Dr. Niemann and his hunchbacked assistant, Daniel, plot their revenge against those who imprisoned them. For this, they recruit the powerful Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, and even Dracula himself. Niemann pursues those who wrong him, sending each monster out to do his dirty work, but his control on the monsters is weak at best and may prove to be his downfall.
Alright, so as I said before with the last two films in this franchise, I grew up watching all these great black and white monster-verse movies back in the day, when I was like 6 or 7, so I grew up watching these constantly, and some might argue this is not a Wolfman movie, it's a Frankenstein movie. In the Wolfman collection I have somewhere back there, it counts as a Wolfman movie because he's in there, so... and it accounts in the Wolfman collection. So, anyways, for the sake, I'm counting it in this video. Alright, but with that being said, let's just get into the actual beginning of the review itself. And I used to, this, I believe, used to be my favorite when I was younger. So let's see what I think of it on rewatch. Alright, starting off with the beginning here, we have the characters of the Hunchback and the Mad Doctor. So this film adds all these characters, so the ones that we obviously all know from the past movies.
They had the classics like Frankenstein's monster, Wolfman, and Dracula, etc., etc. This time around, you get the Mad Doctor and Hunchback introduced, and they're nice new additions.
Which also, they are very well acted by Boris Karloff, and Escusi, I don't know the person's name that plays the Hunchback, but he does a great job as well. Boris Karloff always delivers in every single movie he is in, so... it's a shame he couldn't play Frankenstein, but the actual Frankenstein guy in this movie that plays Frankenstein's monster, he actually does pretty good too. I would say, out of these older films, he might be my second favorite Frankenstein, right behind Boris Karloff. I think it was definitely 1,000 times better than Bela Lugosi. Don't get me wrong, I love Bela Lugosi, but I just think he needs to stick to Dracula, because that is perfection. Him as Frankenstein, even though he does good, also Lon Chaney Jr. does good too as Wolfman, again. Another good in here, it's very rewatchable. Again, these older movies I should say, are quite short compared to today's standards, where like, we're lucky to get even a 2-hour and 10-minute movie, in real life, in current day. But back then, this is like an hour and I think like 10 minutes long. It's quite short, so I find it very, very rewatchable. Alright, that is the good done. Now we move on to the mixed aspects. The mixed aspects is where I'm 50-50 on everything about the film. I don't know which side of the coin I land on, to say the least. Then the first one I have in here is the character of Lanka. Is it La Lanka? I don't know how to pronounce her name. But anyways, the girl that comes along for the journey for this film. At first, she's very charming, and you immediately get a liking to her. However, later on in the movie, there's this like drastic change where she's like. If you know the scene that I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, but she basically just goes, "Oh, I hate this person. Oh, I hate this person." It's just like, that makes me not like the character anymore. Sorry. And it's just, that was such a drastic change from when, it's like on a dime, she was nice, and then she switches. It was so abrupt. But anyways, she was good at the beginning, but later on in the film. And then the final mixed aspect I have it in here, also her relationship with Lawrence Talbot was a little bit, I don't know how to necessarily feel about it. And then the final mixed aspect is what it does with Wolfman. Don't get me wrong, Lon Chaney Jr. still acts good as Wolfman, but these particular last movies, after Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, basically just do the same exact thing with his character in from Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, where he just wants his werewolf-isms to end, and he wants his life to end, essentially. And it just... They're just copy and pasting from the Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. They're basically just doing the same thing with this story again, which I just found a little lazy, but it still kind of works for the film, particularly with the ending to his character in this film. So, yeah, there's that. Alright, so that is the mixed aspects done. Now we move on to the bad elements of the film. And how it basically has two stories going on at the same exact time with Dracula's story. So, yeah, as I said before, it starts with the
main story with the Mad Doctor and Hunchback, but Dracula, basically, his story could be his own movie, and it doesn't really mesh well with the whole entire film, to be honest with you.
Where Dracula's kind of doing his own thing in a very short mini story, and basically the Mad Doctor and Hunchback just leave him, and I just found it being very, why couldn't we have, connected those two directly together? But the new guy that plays Dracula, though, does do good, even though he's nowhere near as good as Bela Lugosi, as I said many times before. Next thing I have in here, I hate to be a broken record, but these abrupt endings, my goodness. I mean, the whole entire gray, black, and white movie genre, I swear to you, I haven't seen a single gray, black, and white movie that has actually 12 Angry Men being the exception. There's probably 5 on one hand I can count that actually get some closure at the end. But most of them have these abrupt endings where you don't even have anything that happens afterwards, and you're just left off why? I want something else to be said, I want to know what happens to everyone else, and it's just, why do we do that? And even more so than Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. This one has an even more abrupt ending. Also, the final bad in here I have is how long it takes Frankenstein's monster to get reintroduced in the film. So, the movie's called House of Frankenstein, so you should really expect a lot of Frankenstein's monster. Well, actually, he just pops up at the last minute in the film. He actually starts moving in the film for the, last 5 minutes. And it's just, why did we do that with the character? And basically, the spoilers for my up-and-coming review for the next film, which is House of Dracula, they basically just do the same thing with this one and do it for that film as well. But at least that's not titled House of Frankenstein. That's titled House of Dracula. And this one's called House of Frankenstein. Somebody explain that to me. Anyways, alright. Now that is just my thoughts on House of Frankenstein, let's bring out the tags and and I will give it a Toxic Goodness B-. I still like this movie, but over time, I've started to realize the problems with the film. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is just my thoughts on House of Frankenstein. Be sure to let me know your thoughts of the film down below. With that being said, guys, I'll see you all next one, everybody. And